You're the first non-academy grad to assume the position of Commandant of Cadets.
That's what I'm told.
And yeah, you have probably had more training and more experience being in so many billets here in New London. Would you mind explaining a little bit of your career and how it's taken you through New London,
Sure.
how each one of those experiences has helped you in the Commandant of Cadet position?
Sure. I've had 5 tours here at the Academy, and the first one was as a Chief Petty Officer, and then I made Senior Chief while I was in the job, to be the Drug and Alcohol Education Specialist here at the Academy. That job, and of course being the Drug and Alcohol Education Specialist is important, but the other thing that drew me to the position was the fact that as a senior enlisted person, I would have access to and provide professional development to cadets. We didn't have the company chief program at that time, so it was a precursor to that and was something I really was looking forward to being part of. So that's the job that I had, and I felt that I made a contribution in that way. I found out that I really liked teaching, and ended up coming back after I got my commission through Officer Candidate School. Went to my 5th ship, which was the Coast Guard cutter Campbell out of New Bedford, Massachusetts, the first ship I had been on that had been built after 1942, and I was first lieutenant, and so I was in charge of the flight deck, so that made it interesting. But when I was in that job, I actually was asked by then Captain Joe Maka, who was the Commandant of Cadets, to come back, and I had been his chief on bib, asked to come back and teach in professional maritime studies. So I came back as a Lieutenant JG to do that job, and enjoyed that very much. I did that for about 2.5 years, and then Admiral Olson, when he was the Commandant of Cadets, stood up a 4-credit leadership course, and myself, then Lieutenant Commander, I'm dropping a lot of names here, former Commandants of Cadets, but then Lieutenant Commander Doug Wisniewski then became a Commandant of Cadets later on as well. He and I and Lieutenant, now retired Commander Ellen Metcalf, were a 3-person team that put that leadership program together, and I did that in that second tour. Went off to command as a lieutenant at Search and Rescue Station, and then went off to graduate school to prepare to come back and teach in the Humanities Department, Moral and Ethical Philosophy. And that was a wonderful time that I had in humanities. 3 years. While I was in that job, I was also the Academic Honor Officer, and I was the class advisor to the great class of 2003. So I had those experiences as well. So a lot of those things really are things that I oversee now as Commandant of Cadets. Those are things that influence what I do in my job currently. So having had those positions as a junior person really informs what I do today. So I left, went off to be the aide to the Commandant, Admiral Collins, for his first 2 years of his administration, and then went up to be the group commander in Boston, Massachusetts, to come back for my 4th tour here at the Academy as the Chief of Officer Candidate School. While I was in that position, we really worked together, the cadet side and the OCS side, to try and get more engagement between the OCs and the cadets, recognizing that they were going to be in the same wardroom, and they really needed to know as much about each other as they could before they actually get out into their operational assignments. So that was a lot of fun when I did that as well. And then, of course, I get to get a peek behind the curtain as to what was happening on the cadet side also. Went off to Senior Surf School and Naval War College, and then came back to be the Commandant of Cadets. So it's been incredible, and I've really enjoyed every moment that I've had here.